Salutations. Here's a short demonstration of the reverb I built using only native TouchDesigner objects. So it's based on 4 stereo modulatable delay lines. All the reverb algorithm parameters, like the guts of it, are available to tweak, because I mean, what I've learned doing this is that people they find a nice sounding reverb algorithm. So that may be either the mixing matrix, the ratios of delay lines, the speed of modulation and the range of it, and they really lock it down. They get, like, engineers are like, damn, this sounds good, and they sort of lock it down and they say this is the Synth Hall 2 algorithm. I say that because this one makes me think this is more like a lexicon, old school lexicon reverb than anything else. Yeah, so it's got modulation built into the delays to sort of wash out the sound, and you can set per delay line how much maximum modulation you want to have and what's the maximum speed. So you'll get a lot of different results. I mean, they all sound like, you know, like reverb. They all sound sort of like muddy, not muddy, but washed together. So let's try with a couple parameters, and we'll see where the strong points were, the not so strong points, and that'll be that. This is a filter at the output that I think I disabled, but we'll figure it out. Let's do a couple of sounds. Modulation. Let's try this. Okay, let's try playing in the drum machine. So there's the reverb, called Reverb. Here it is. Yeah, I'm like trying to build sort of the visual equivalent to what's going on with the sound. So it's going to be sort of matrix mixing of video. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what it looks like. But it'll be cool. I'd like ultimately all these components to be audio visual, and so you set some stuff up and then you just plop them in and their effects, both audio and visual. So you get results pretty quickly. That would be the idea. And, okay, so that's the reverb. Let's try getting a drum machine in there. Oh yeah, there's a resolution parameter, and resolution gives you an old school, like, grittier, darker sound delay, and it saves you on CPU cycles. That's always helpful. And of course, the ratio here will deeply impact the sound, or, I mean, some ratios are better than others. show. Let's go way slower here. And it's normal that it gets all grainy like this when the window's open. That's how it is when you're working with audio in TouchDesigner. Perform mode is when you're going to know whether stuff works or not. There we go. What happened there probably was the timeline looping around. It does that, so even if you set a really long timeline, when it loops around, you'll get a little bit of a hiccup, and your delay lines will usually get a bit screwed. And experimental feature, this sort of stuff. Still experimental. The ratio of 2 works well. Maybe I wish it worked better. But that's where we're at. Let's go back to full resolution. Yeah, so, you know, pretty experimental. I would think, in perform mode, it's not going to be the most stable thing. You're going to get some crackles in here, you know, like around there. Sometimes it'll play nice. It'll just sort of really depend on a bunch of factors. See, like I'm hearing a bunch of crackles there. They're a bit distracting when they show up because they break the illusion of space. But if we're not playing with stuff too much, I mean, that's a reverb right there. So let's get the synth back in there. Okay, here's an issue, right? We've got this jumping from 734 to 735 samples all the time, so that's something I'm gonna have to check out and troubleshoot for sure. Because that's, yeah. Like when you're hearing inconsistency like that. Yeah, so I see it here, right? Might have to do with dropping frames. Yeah, but that's sort of what's causing the crackling down the line. So as long as you're keeping a tight 60 frames per second, which you should be in perform mode, should be good. I'll be doing some more troubleshooting, just see where we get. that crackling. I can hear it. Like, it's got its flaws, right? But still working on it. I just don't know how far I can actually really take it at this point. Obviously, what I would really like would be to get some crazy reverbs, like stuff that's like the black hole algorithm, which is why that pitch shifting stuff is in there. But that's a bit of a long way away. Yeah, there it goes. No, so that needs some work. Ultimately, these sort of things, though, they need the record chop. They need a recording buffer that's replacing the samples in it that is a fixed length, rather than having every sample update all the time like the trail chop is. So yeah, so if they get that fixed, then the whole workflow for these sort of stuff is going to change significantly, and we'll see if that eliminates a lot of our problems. Timeline looping around. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. So that's it. See the bit of a candid demonstration of Reverb in TouchDesigner. Pros, cons, sort of stuff struggle with, like this timeline, and yeah, the trail chop. That's it. And I'm going to be doing some troubleshooting, and we'll see if we can take this anywhere else. Okay, see ya.